welcome everyone to the December 14th, 2021 Old Township Council meeting and call it to order. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and our prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad. For our first responders, for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and this evening for all of those who lost their lives in those horrific tornadoes this week. A moment of silence, please. Mr. Pescitti, our prayer.
Dear Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give us quiet minds and hearts that we may hear thy voice. Help us to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give us the strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that we have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and one another. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please be seated.
Meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on December 28, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Ms. Brown is absent. Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli? Present. Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Pescitti?
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Here.
Ms. Walker? Here. President Sobor?
Here.
We have 6 present.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting, and we will begin this evening with a presentation regarding upcoming development studies and plans. Yes, please. Yes. Good evening.
Thank you, Council.
Good evening,
Give us a
everyone.
few minutes tonight to discuss some of the redevelopment plans that are going on throughout the town. As you know, the Council has acted and named some areas in need of redevelopment here in Old Bridge. It's a tool that mostly all municipalities in the state of New Jersey use to control over development, to get what the town needs in certain areas, and identify mistakes that may be made in the past and correct them. And I think it's all about good planning and discussion. It's about a lot of thought that goes into this process, and that's why the council is involved. I would also like to introduce our new assistant planner, Vina, if you would have a few words. Background.
Good evening, Council. I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to Natalie C. She is our Assistant Township Planner. She has a bachelor's degree in urban studies and statistics from Pittsburgh University. She has a master's in city and regional planning from Rutgers Blaustein School. She has been on the Dean's Honor List. She has been a recipient of numerous financial awards while she was in school. She started working in the planning office since October, and she actually started working at a time when we were severely short-staffed. So to her credit, she has taken up a lot of responsibility on her own. It's a pleasure to work with her. She is so knowledgeable and so thorough. I'm truly excited to welcome her into the department.
Thank you so much, Nina.
So I would like to start tonight's presentation with an important statement, which I believe is very vital, and that is with all the redevelopment activities that we have undertaken in the last 2 years, the intent is not to change Old Bridge. The intent is to carefully examine areas within Old Bridge that can be revitalized, areas within Old Bridge that are underdeveloped or are undeveloped and have remained to do so over the years. So the intent is to tap into the growth potential while preserving the residential character of the township, which is so important to each one of us. So by saying that, I want to first talk about some of the projects or activities that we undertook in the last 2 years, and some of the upcoming ones, because you will see me back again with numerous redevelopment studies and plans, and I will come back and present those in the coming year. So firstly, the ones that we have achieved so far, 2 of them were actually part of our court-approved housing plan, the 2016 housing plan, and one of them was located at the intersection of East Greystone and Marlborough Road, which the 2016 housing plan had slated this property for a 72-unit municipally sponsored 100% affordable project. TRG Group, which was the designated conditional redeveloper, we amended the plan to allow them to build the project. They went in front of the planning board. They got an approval from the planning board. They have been trying to apply for the low-income housing tax credits. They missed it by a very small margin last year. They're very optimistic that this year they will be able to get those credits and they will be able to proceed with the construction of the project. The second project is the 200 Lawrence Parkway site, which was slated again for 12 units of 100% municipally sponsored affordable units. I came in front of the council early this year to amend the plan because the previous plan was written for Habitat for Humanity, which had a different layout. But then Morris Habitat for Humanity came in with semi-attached single-family dwelling units, and this is a better plan which actually merges or coincides with the existing land use patterns within the area. So I was in front of you for that. Morris Habitat for Humanity is gearing up to file an application with the planning board. As soon as they get their approval, they will start construction. The third one is the Old Matimon Roadside. This property is sandwiched between Highway 18, County Road 516, and Old Matimon Road. We conducted an area investigation study. There was an application that was made to the zoning board for an assisted living facility, which was approved. I will soon start working on a redevelopment plan, so I will be in front of the council with a redevelopment plan. The next 2 are the area investigation study and the redevelopment plan for the intersection of Jake Brown Road and US Highway 9 and Jake Brown Road and White Oak Lane extension. This was approved by the council early this year. I've been talking a lot for the last 2 days. So, this plan involves a lot of improvements, public improvements, without which a developer cannot proceed with the development. And so there are 3 applications pending in front of the planning board, 2 of which were approved for preliminary site plan, and they will be going in front of the planning board for final. The next, I'm sorry. No, that's okay, that's okay. No, that's okay. It's just that I'm having some sinus issues. But with the upcoming projects, the first one is Global Landfill. This contains 6 properties, 4 of which are a Superfund site. And there is a potential developer who's interested in building solar farm on this project. So I will be undertaking an area investigation study and subsequently a redevelopment plan for this property. The next one is the redevelopment plan for Old Matimon Road, which I already talked about. The next 2 are actually part of the Crossroad redevelopment plan. There's one parcel on the Texas Road site to the south of Texas Road, which is planned for age-restricted housing. There is a developer who's interested in building an age-restricted housing project on this property, but again, the Crossroad plan was written in 2006. It is outdated. The design standards are not up to the current standards, so we will need to amend that plan. So I'll be soon in front of the council with an amendment for that portion. The majority of the Crossroad redevelopment plan, there is a developer who is interested in developing this piece, and he's doing his due diligence and going through the wetland permitting process. So again, when he's ready to come back, I will be in front of the council with a plan amendment for the larger portion of Crossroads. The next one. The next one is actually a study which the council authorized the planning board to conduct. It is for the area at the intersection of Route 35 and Lawrence Parkway. And the planning board did direct me to start an area investigation study. Actually, the study is 75% complete, but then I was short-staffed. Now that I have Natalie, I will be coming in front of the planning board at the beginning of the year with this study along with the global landfill. The next one, and this one actually, I hope my voice doesn't crack because this project is near and dear to me. This all started almost 2.5 years back. Every time I would pass by Route 9, the Kohl's shopping complex, I always wondered, how come the other side of the highway is prospering, whereas we have a huge empty parking lot, vacant stores, and no activity in this area. So out of curiosity, I had always heard, and I had worked in other towns on something called as a transit village initiative. And what this is it's a designation that is given by NJDOT. It's spearheaded by NJDOT and NJ Transit. And once you get this designation, the township is eligible for all the NJDOT grants which are related to transit-oriented developments. The important part of it is in the state, there are 33 transit village designated townships. There is only one, and they beat us by few months. Otherwise, Old Bridge would have been the first one to be designated based on a bus terminus. But I made a casual call to NJ Transit to see what they feel about this designation and what if I pursue it. And the response was so good that within 2 months, I was able to set up a pre-application meeting involving NJDOT, NJ Transit, DCA, Mayor Henry, Mr. Shah, and I gave a short presentation. I showed them the area, I showed them the empty parking lot, the empty stores, and at the end of the meeting, the director of NJDOT said, Old Bridge will be the next transit village designation. This is a green light, you can start working on the process. Unfortunately for us, the pandemic hit. And one of the important criteria of the transit village designation is public participation and the shreds. With the pandemic, I tried, but I couldn't get public in one place. I was not allowed to. I had to wait for a year, but early this year, I reached out to DOT again saying that I was supposed to finish everything in 6 months. Obviously, with the pandemic, I wasn't able to. Can I continue working on it? And they said, of course, we are waiting for it. So that is one project which I have already worked on area investigation study halfway through. I do want to continue working on that, write the subsequent redevelopment plan, because Old Bridge, the bus line that traverses through Old Bridge, has the highest ridership. We have the ammunition already there. We have commuter parking lots. I know NJ Transit also has a dream project, and Nicole was a part of one of those meetings for bus rapid transit between Howell and Old Bridge. They have been working on it for many, many years. Of course, funding is an issue, but we recently had a meeting with them, and they were thrilled when I told them that I was working on this transit village designation as well. So something to look forward to, but I did want to take this opportunity. This is the end of the year. I wanted the council to know what we have done so far and what we will be coming in front of you with in the coming year. But that's all. Yes.
And council, let me just close by saying, so important that, what we do as an administration, as a council, that what we do today has an impact on the town down the road. And what we do today needs to be able to stand the test of time. And we can't always say that it's been in the past. We can't go back in time and correct things that were done. Maybe not as much thought put into when the town exploded. It just didn't happen. But so that's what we're trying to do. There's a tremendous amount of work being put into this and this thought process that Dina, we can't thank her enough for what she's done, the entire staff, the engineering department, to try to get it right. To get it right so that stands the test of time. What we do when we're gone. That this will not be a burden to the town. In fact, it'll promote growth and economic growth here in the town, local economy, and keep Old Bridge a vibrant town that it has become. So, council, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Dina.
It's because of my throat after the surgery. That's
You said presentation. Sorry. So presentation screen's on. That's on. So then we have presentation left. So we just hit it off. So it's.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're looking, our next presentation is something seasonal here. We're by Public Works Director Lenning about our snow plowing this year. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you, council. Again, as we do every year, we'd like to bring the Public Works Department and our Recreation Department. We're solely responsible for snow removal operations in town. The roads, sidewalks, the commuter parking lots, just about every surface that the town owns is cleared by either us or contractors. This will be Mr. Lenning's first year as a Director of Public Works, but I can assure you, Mr. Lennings has been involved in snow removal since he was a very young man. He's been on the business end of a snow shovel, I can assure you that. He's been on the business end of a snow blower, and he's also been behind the steering wheel of a snow plow many years as we plowed together for the town many moons ago when I was a very young man, and maybe Casey's age, and he was just a little boy. I don't know if he was old enough to drive yet, but your father made you drive the truck. So he's I have no doubt in my mind that Mr. Lennings is more than capable of removing the snow with the help of Matt and everyone in his department to get the roads clear as soon as possible, depending on the weather. We know each storm is different here in Old Bridge, the time of day, when they come, the day of the week. So I'd just like Casey to go over what we've been doing over the last couple of months. You as a council, you've approved contractors that Mr. Lennings could call in when the snow gets, or a big storm is coming. Obviously, we try to do as much as we can prior to a storm. Now with the better weather technology and the forecasting, we do have the ability to get out ahead of the storm, pre-treat roads if needed. So I'll hand it over to Casey. Mr. Lennings, I'm sorry, I can't call you by your first name any longer. Mr. Lennings will now give a presentation about snow preparation and removal plans for hopefully 2022. I think 21 looks like we're going to close out pretty quietly, so thank you, Mr. Lennings.
Hello, I would like to start by thanking the mayor, the business administrator, and the council for letting me present our 21-22 snow presentation. Since I was born, and when I was able to hold a shovel, I've been out, assisting my family shovel, and then as I grew, family business, and I've always been involved in snow. Sorry for the mic. I'm just gonna move up. So I've been involved in snow removal my entire life, and I pride myself on it. It sounds funny, and you would think that people get tired of it. I embrace it, I enjoy it, and now that I have a growing family, I enjoy taking my kids out and playing in the snow with them. But that's nice, but when it comes to business, we have business to handle. So let's get started. So the Department of Public Works and Recreation merged together during snowstorms to combine forces to expedite the snow removal for all township roads, parking lots, assets that we have. The two departments combined consist of 4 supervisors, 33 employees, 30 plow trucks, 20 salters, 5 various pieces of equipment such as backhoes, loaders, tractors. We have 5 specialized sidewalk plows, and we have 5 traditional snow blowers. The best practice for snowplow equipment is to put it away in working condition, which, as long as I've worked for the Public Works Department, which is coming up on 14 years, we've always done that. With that being said, we start in September prepping all of this equipment to make sure we don't get caught with an early snowstorm. I remember during Sandy, we had a snowstorm, and that was a horrific year, but we were able to shift into snow equipment by the preparation that the department put forth. And the picture represents one of our newer trucks. It's a real asset to the fleet. It has an 11-foot snowplow, so in years past we worked with smaller trucks with 8-foot snowplows, 7-foot snowplows. Working with the township to purchase the larger equipment, we're able to streamline the process, reduce the number of vehicles needed, and still perform the same amount of work. So to talk about priorities, we have them listed out, but a lot of this work is being performed at the same time, and that's important for everybody to understand. We prioritize our snow emergency routes, and the best example of a snow emergency route would be Ferry Road. We have to make sure the hospital is open at all times for anybody that needs to get there. We also have to take care of essential municipal areas. That would be the police station, the police parking lot. We have the first aid buildings and the firehouses that we have to make sure all of our volunteers can get out and assist anybody in need. We have municipal parking lots, and you wouldn't think that was high up on the priority list, but depending on the time of the storm during the week, if the commuter parking lots are full, they come in at 8 in the morning, they're there all day, there's a foot of snow when they get, after their return from work, it's important that they're able to get home safely. So that ranks higher than some other things. Obviously, the secondary streets, we want to hit the main arteries of neighborhoods. For example, like a Cindy Street, there's a lot of traffic that uses Cindy, but then we start working our way into the inner arteries of those neighborhoods, and that would be like a secondary street that we would then work on. And dead ends and cul-de-sacs, they are being plowed. We do go down, we turn around in the cul-de-sac exit, so every resident has a safe way to exit their house if need be, but we do not complete the center of the cul-de-sac in the middle of a storm. We dispatch equipment afterwards to make sure they're all clear, mailboxes aren't being blocked in, fire hydrants are not being blocked in by the large amount of snow in the end of the cul-de-sacs. And last but not least, we work on the parks and recreation, parking lots in the parks. Unfortunately, we do not have a sledding hill, we just don't have the topography for that. So we maintain fire lanes for all those buildings, but they are put on the lower end of priority. I have a short clip if it loads. This is one of our new trucks last year on its maiden voyage, so I was happy to get footage of it. You can see that's another 11-foot snowplow. It's another important road, which is East Greystone. And you can see it, traveling through. That was the first garbage truck in a long time that we were able to put a snowplow on, and we're proud of it. That truck should last the township over 20 years, and that plow will be an essential part of our snowplow operations for that entire time. I'd like to shift gears a little bit and offer some suggestions to residents during a snowstorm. Snowplowing is a thankless job. Nobody ever stops you and tells you you're doing a great job, but we try our hardest. I don't know a plow operator that enjoys plowing in driveways. That's not our mission. Our mission is to open the roadways up, curb to curb, let water flow to the drainage systems. And so in the picture that we have here, on the top lane, it represents a resident shoveled their driveway, but they did not clear to the left of their driveway. So the plow comes down and all the snow on the plow shoots into the driveway. So on the bottom lane, if you want to get out there and you're ambitious, if you can shovel to the left of your driveway, that'll prevent the second shovel because it'll allow all the snow on the plow to exit the plow prior to your driveway. It is a helpful tip, and I have explained that to residents in the past, and making my trips through the neighborhoods, I do notice that they actually utilize that tip. The next thing is extremely important for the residents to understand. Sporting equipment should be removed from the roadways. Besides the plow trucks having to navigate around all this equipment, it creates a small ice dam. So if we have a snow and then we get that next day, that warm temperature and everything's melting, now that water hits that dam and then it can create an ice condition with a refreeze that night, which isn't safe for pedestrians that are crossing the roadways or anybody traveling on the roadways. Not every neighborhood has driveway parking, and we understand that. But if you have a driveway, please ask to limit street parking. This allows the plows to expedite the snow plow removal process, and we open the road up. It shortens the time that all the plow operators need to be away from their families, and just overall helps the Public Works Department. The next thing we ask for is if garbage and recycling is not suspended, once you're picked up, pull your cans in, because that's another obstacle. We're constantly swerving around all night long, and it slows the process down. So these are a few helpful tips, pre-storm, and during the storm that each resident could do to assist the Public Works Department and the Recreation Department. Post-storm, if you don't have anywhere to go, we recommend that you shovel your driveway, you keep up with the storm. But if you can leave the last 2 feet of your driveway unshoveled, when the plow drives by, again, it's not going to dump into your driveway. We understand some people need to go to work, and that's not always an option. But if you don't have any plans that day and you're going to stay home, it's probably the best way to prevent that extra snow from entering the driveway. We ask not to blow your snow into the roadway. It's a pet peeve of mine. We have a nice clean road, and you drive it around, you see a snow patch. You know what happened. Besides my pet peeve, it's also a safety condition, because with the refreeze, now you have a driver driving down the road, they hit this slick patch, they hit the brakes, and we just want to prevent everybody from getting injured. Obviously, sidewalks need to be cleared after the storm. We request 12 hours after the storm, and most importantly, the fire hydrants. We would hate to see, an emergency, and now the fire department's trying to dig out a fire hydrant or even locate a fire hydrant. It's a little tip that could help you and your neighbors. There's a few shoveling tips. Push the snow, don't try to lift the snow and keep moving it. Wear good boots, stay hydrated. And this presentation will be available so you can continue to look at this. Most important thing, we're not perfect. Mailboxes do get damaged, curbs do get damaged. Once you discover this damage, you can notify the Public Works Department by calling them or sending us an email. Email works great. We have a record of it. In the event that we're not able to come out and repair the mailbox immediately, we do have temporary mailboxes that we can, deploy for each resident so they don't have mail disturbance. That's pretty much the end of our presentation. I'm looking forward to spring.
Casey, can you briefly explain to the council and the public process? So besides the township employee plans, we have a lots of contractors. I think it's important that the public gets to see, and then I think Matt can go over some of the services that you handle, so.
So, as in years past, the township is broken up into 20 different zones, and there's contractors that bid for each zone, and obviously the lowest bidder wins that bid. And we've been very fortunate in years past to have all the zones bid out. This year was a little bit more difficult to obtain contractors, so I don't want to say there's going to be a delay in service, because I know that my staff will be able to make up the difference with that, but just with the way the economy was working, that it was difficult to obtain it. But what we do is we assess every storm. We can't stress enough, every storm is different, you know. So when we see a forecast where we think we're going to have substantial snowfall, we immediately contact all the contractors, let them know that they're going to be needed, and then we'll set a time when we feel that, you know, that it's appropriate for them to come out. Typically, a 4-inch storm or greater will require us bringing in our contractors. We do have approximately 80 plow trucks, you know, employed private plow trucks, plus our 30 that we have. So they're designated for each zone, but obviously, if we see there's an issue in a zone, we could shift our resources. Or if we have a storm that comes in off the coast, we could shift towards the coast and you know, try to do the best we can to clear the roadways in a safe and timely manner.
So, before every storm, and we always have a meeting, we look at our weather. We get updates usually 2 times a day during regular weather. During storm events, we get them about every 6 hours. So the mayor, Himanshu, myself, the head of public works, and usually the police department are all involved in that meeting, so we know when are the first flakes going to fall, when do we plan on calling in contractors. Public works may call in their contractors before or after Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation under a regular storm, and we know there is no regular storm. We work from the complex, we make sure the complex is open, and then whatever assistance Public Works needs out there, we hit on the roads, and then at the end, we all come back and, you know, finish up whatever we don't finish up. If the storm is large, we always discuss how we're splitting our crews, so that if we have crews that are in for a long period of time, we say, this is my guy to contact from this hour to this hour, and this is our foreman in charge, and they let us know, so that when our guys or gals do go home, they're able to go home, go to sleep, and come back refreshed. But this has been a collaborative effort that we've had. I'm starting my 4th year here now. It's been a great working relationship with us in Public Works, and it's only improved over those years. So we look forward to, I guess, as successful of a snow season as we could possibly hope for.
I think, Council, I just want to add a couple of things, important things. I think over the last 5 years, the Public Works and Parks has great partnership developed. If everybody remembers Kyle, we call him Kyle who now. You know, Casey has done a great job replacing Kyle, but Casey worked well with the Kyle, and Kyle and Matt has built a relationship within a department so that they all work together, and that has dramatically improved operation for those emergency time. They all work together very well, and so is Matt and Casey, and I think you see the result of that, a great service to the town.
Good.
Okay,
Good, thank you.
all right, thank you so much for all, and let's,
Hopefully we won't need your services this year.
hopefully it'll be a light snow season. Thank you all so much. Thank you very much for the presentations. Next will be approval of minutes of previous meetings, approval of minutes of combined council meeting of September 14th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli or Dr. Greenberg? Dr. Greenberg, second by Mr. Murphy?
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sobor?
Yes.
We have 7 ayes.
Next, approval of minutes of combined council meeting of September 28th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Ms. Brown?
Are you able to check if I was actually present at that meeting?
Sorry, give me 1 second, I can tell you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll give yes for that.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sobor?
Yes.
We have 7 ayes.
Next will be H1, request release of performance guarantee for 19-17P, Avalon Bay Communities Incorporated, Block 17000, Lots 5, 6.11, 28.11, 28.111, and 28.112. Good evening, Mrs. Shabiro.
Good evening, Council President. Thank you for allowing us to be in front of the council tonight. This is a performance guarantee release for Avalon Bay. Before I do start, I would like to call in the audience if the attorney is present. I don't see one present at this time, but if somebody is here, an attorney for Avalon Bay,
Right.
now would be the time to come forward.
Yeah, is there anyone here representing Avalon Bay, any legal representation? I don't see anyone coming.
So I believe our procedure in the past is if attorney is not present, then we would go forward. I do want the council to know that George Allen, our inspector on the project, is here with me and will be here with me again should there be a continuation of this hearing at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Council, we would just need a motion from the council if they would wish to consider continuing the application. Since Avalon Bay did provide notice in a newspaper and to the residents, we would, if the council would like to consider continuing them to the next meeting, so they do not have to renotice.
What is the council's pleasure? Without, we noticed that she's asking. Here.
So it would be an action by council to determine that we would carry this to the next meeting. They would not be required to be noticed again.
Carry, they don't have to require me notice it.
Well, I would just base it on if no one's here from the public, and I don't think if they came and they were noticed, that there's a reason to re-notice. If they're here, they're gonna know that.
Right, so that means that if you're interested, then the council can say, so somebody would need to make a motion in a second for them to vote to say that that would,
Public here?
I'm sorry?
Is there anybody from the public here that came to hear this?
That's why I wanna know.
Oh, are any members here in reference to the performance release for Avalon Bay?
Is everything okay with it?
We're not having a hearing on it tonight because they're not present. So it's not, we can't have a discussion or a hearing on it because unfortunately they did not come tonight. So because of that, the council has the option to say that we would carry this to the next meeting and not require the applicant to notice again, or the council can choose to require the applicant to renotice their hearing.
Can I make a motion and continue without notice?
Sure. So a motion by Mr. Piscitty.
Okay, I
So
have a
how long
motion.
of a delay is it if they have to renotice?
They must notice in a paper at least 20 days in advance and to owners in the development.
Well, I know the motion's about, I would say renotice.
Okay, there's a
I
motion.
say renotice is because the new year and stuff.
There's a motion.
Yeah, we have to vote on.
Right, there's a motion on the floor to just do an extension
There is-
without notice. That's what's on the
I'm
floor.
gonna withdraw what I just
Okay,
proposed,
okay, so the motion was withdrawn by Councilman Piscatty.
and I'll make the motion to do it with notice.
Okay, so he's
Second.
made, yeah, and second, Mrs. Walker, okay?
Ms. Brown?
Yes?
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
What was withdraw?
It's to require that the applicant must renotice prior to.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Piscatty? Sorry,
Yes.
please. Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sowler?
Yes,
We have 7 ayes.
okay, and thank you, Nicole. Next will be our bill listing, Mrs. Walker.
Accounts payable, $22,269,297.82. November 12, 2021 payroll, $1,081,411.89. November 12, 2021 payroll overtime, $33,907.96. November 24th, 2021 payroll, $1,030,281.75. November 24th, 2021 payroll overtime, $57,817.49. December 10th, 2021 payroll, $996,361.57. December 10th, 2021 payroll overtime, $49,863.54, a total of $25,518,942.02.
Move it.
I have a motion by Mr. Piscatty,
Second?
second, Mrs. Walker, and can we have a breakdown, please, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, Council President, I'm gonna go each payroll separately. This is a report on the November 12th payroll. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $33,907.96. There was slight uptick in overtime in elections, due to election, obviously. In police department, the total overtime for sworn officer was $23,910.38. Deduct grant, $3,509.22. Deduct ETO, time, $1,953.41. The net overtime was $18,447.75, representing 323 men and women hours. There was one officer quarantined during that pay period. The next is November 24th pay period. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, total overtime for this pay period was $57,817.49. There was really no uptick in any other department. For the sworn officers, overtime for this pay period was $44,780.17. Deduct grant, $2,333.48. Deduct ETO time, $15,704.13. Net overtime was $26,742.56, representing 390.50 man and women hours. There was no officer injured on duty. There was no officer quarantined during that pay period. The last one is December 10 payroll. Again, as Councilwoman Walker indicated, total overtime for that pay period was $49,863.54. There was an uptick in food bank for participating in the Thanksgiving basket distribution. The total overtime for sworn officer was $40,943.67. Deduct grant, $2,473.19. Deduct ETO, $14,455.37. The net overtime was $24,015.11, representing 419 man and women hours. There were 3 officers quarantined during that pay period. That concludes my report, Council President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shah.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Selward?
Yes.
7 ayes.
Next will be our consent agenda item. I'd like to get a motion and a second, and then we'll go for separation.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Greenberg, second by Councilman Rizzoli.
Okay, Ms. Brown, do you have any separations?
No, not at this time.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
No, thank you, not at this time.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy, do you have any separations?
No, thank you.
Mr. Piscitty, any separations?
No separations, thank you.
Mr. Rizzoli?
No separation, thank you.
Ms. Walker?
No, thank you.
President Selward?
No, thank you.
There's no separations tonight.
Just vote,
So, roll call then.
please.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Selward?
Yes.
We have 7 ayes.
Okay, next is a discussion of 2022 Township Council meeting schedule. The clerk has sent it to everyone, so I will ask if anyone has any questions or comments.
Question.
Yes.
Is that a typo? It should be 7 PM on Tuesday, or does that really say 1 PM?
So, yeah, so this is a draft schedule based on 2 meetings a month in every month of the year, including the summers. In November, we have the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Tuesday, all represented conflicts. November 8th being a conflict of general election, November 15th being the inception of league, and November 22nd being the week of Thanksgiving. So in our discussions, we discussed proposing a new calendar was put in front of you, the 2nd Monday, and keeping it at our regular time at 7:30, which would be November 14th. Or if we chose to keep it on Tuesday, proposing an afternoon meeting, which would allow for any person who is attending league to be able to leave for the conference at that point. So this is not the schedule that would be adopted at rework. This was to identify all possible dates and to identify any conflicts so that the council could give us guidance for how to prepare this for the reorganization meeting.
Give a little time to digest it.
Exactly.
And to look at it. And then, you know, if anyone has any concerns.
Council Presidents, during the month of June, July, and August, as traditionally we have chosen 1 meeting a month rather than 2 meetings. So we have listed dates and the council needs to, we need to decide which day we're gonna pick in each month. And then we can cross out the events.
So everyone will have time to look at it and decide. Does anyone have any questions? Good? Okay, so we have time to look at the information, okay? All right, thank you.
Is there public comment on this?
Not on discussion. Next. Of the township clerk.
I do not have a report tonight.
Okay, thank you. Report of the township attorney.
None at this time.
Administrative report, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Council President. The administrative report for December 14th, 2021. Item number 1, Parks and Recreation. The Parks and Recreation Winter Program Guide is now available for viewing with registration beginning on December 20th at 6 p.m. For more information, please visit oldbridge.com/recreation. Item number 2, Fall Leaf Pickup. This is the final week of fall leaf pickup in all wards. If your leaf bags are not picked up by December 18th, please email publicworks@oldbridge.com. Item number 3, Christmas Tree Pickup, January 2022. Christmas tree pickup will begin the week of January 3rd, 2022. Please visit oldbridge.com/recycling for full schedule. Item number 4, 2021 Annual Drainage Program. Old Bridge Township contractor Masaracola Excavation Company began drainage improvement on Stevens Avenue between number 10 Stevens Avenue and Bushnell Road on Monday, December 13th. The work will take approximately 5 days to complete. Should you have any question, please contact Old Bridge Township Engineering Department at 732-721-5600 extension 2302. Item number 5, fiscal year 2022 NJDOT Local Freight Impact Fund Grant Application. The township submitted an application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the 2022 Local Freight Impact Fund Program to fund the improvements for Waterworks Road between Cheesequake Road and Brown Road. A resolution approving the submission of this application in the amount of $829,484.25 is on tonight's consent agenda that was approved by the council. Item number 6, body camera, Old Bridge Police Department. Old Bridge police officers now equipped with and being trained on body cameras. We expect the program to be fully operational beginning December 30th. Item number 7, Building Department Code Enforcement. The construction within the Building Department Code Enforcement building has been completed. As of November 22nd, all business now takes place in the newly renovated building and no longer in Silver Lining in Old Bridge. The zoning officer will now permanently locate at Administration Building, 2nd floor, room 211. We appreciate your patient support while the township provided improvements to better serve our residents and contractor. And now, the way the new configuration is that all 4 technical assistance windows are open to all visitors there, so they can expedite the services to all the contractors and residents. Item number 8, COVID-19 update. We have reconvened our bi-weekly COVID-19 conference call, which included the Township Old Bridge School, Library, OBMUA representative, OEM, and the Police Department. We had a regularly scheduled call into 2020 while the pandemic was at highest, and then we reduced the interval of the calls, and then we suspended calls. This year, now we have reconvened because the cases are growing. We'll continue to conduct these calls providing there is a concern in the number of cases. The superintendent of schools stated that there is currently no plan to shut down or go remote unless the health department order closures. The library director also advised there is no plan to close the library at this time. Council President, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Does any council member have a question or a comment for Mr. Shaw?
I'll move it.
Okay, move. Second. Okay, moved by Councilman Murphy and second by Dr. Greenberg.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sobor?
Yes.
That's 7 ayes.
Next will be public comment on any subject matter for a maximum period of 3 minutes.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The section is open for any topic or items in the consent agenda or on any other matter. In accordance with NJSA 10-412A and the Old Bridge Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 3 minutes or less. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker has finished with their allotted time. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the corresponding department's office during regular business hours. The township clerk will regulate the time during the comment portion of this meeting.
Thank you. Is there anyone now in the public who wishes to come forward, please? Thank you. Okay.
If you'd like to have a seat, you can sit, it's easier, and then the microphone is there. As long as it's green, you should be able to speak into it.
Good evening.
Thank you, and good evening, members of the council. My name is Charlie Cradaville. I'm the Central Jersey organizer for Food and Water Watch. We're a national nonprofit with over 60,000 members here in the state of New Jersey. And I'm here in support of the initiative petition signed by over 1,300 residents of the township to transition to 100% clean renewable energy over the course of this decade. Along with my friend here, we submitted this initiative petition 46 days ago. And under the state statute NJSA 40:69A-187, it states that, quote, within 20 days after a petition is filed, the municipal clerk shall determine whether each paper of the petition has a proper statement of the circulator and whether the petition is signed by a sufficient number of qualified voters. Goes on to say that the clerk is responsible for setting forth the findings and certifying them at the next council meeting. I would like a response tonight as to the status of the examination. I'm surprised that it is not part of your agenda tonight, given that this petition was submitted 46 days ago.
So this was submitted 46 days ago. Okay, we just want to get the...
Yes, October the 29th. Madam Council President, through you, for the clerk, could she tell us what the status of her examination is?
We did say it was a question and answer period, so do you have information that you can forward to him? So you... Yeah, we have to get a legal...
The signatures have been reviewed. This is the first council meeting that's occurred since the petition has been received. In review of the petition, it is deficient of the signatures required for the 10% to come into it. We have re-reviewed it multiple times in order to make sure we didn't miss a signature because some of them are illegible, and trying to make sure that we're not missing any signatures. The letter and numbers have to be sent to our legal department. We do have, I just spoke to our legal department again, they have all of our documents related to making sure that the statements are proper. And then there's a relief period that we would grant to be able to come back with those signatures. I believe it's about 200, but I'm not 100% sure on the number off the top of my head, but it's about 200 signatures. We know that there was a delay. We had server issues and access to SVRs, which I had noted to you, and it takes about one employee a minimum of 1 hour to do 30 signatures if every signature is legible and advisable on a first search.
Well, thank you for the thorough response, and yeah, I'll just conclude.
And communication, so there has been communication. Okay.
Yeah, and I do want to say thank you to everybody for their work on this. I know it is a lot of work, and we appreciate it. And just to the council, if you have any questions about the petition, I'll make myself available to you all. And just want to confirm that when the letter is finalized, that I'll get a copy of it right away. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hi. So my name is.
I'm so sorry, if you just get so we can reset.
No
We
worries.
just want to reset. Okay.
My name is Adina Carton. I'm a lifelong resident of Old Bridge, and I'm working with Charlie at Food and Water Watch. I chose to get involved with it actually right outside this municipal building in front of the library. I was inspired by these other young people who have a mission to use directed democracy in action to make an impact on the climate crisis. And I've talked to hundreds of our neighbors who want to be committed to the solution but can't afford individual buy-ins. This is a pre-market solution in which the community would the council would choose community choice aggregation, CCAs, which allows a cost-effective solution to procuring the electricity in a cheaper and sustainable way. So I just wanted to talk as an Old Bridge resident of my support for this cause, and that concludes my episode.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to come forward? Good evening. Are you the spokesperson, or are you each going to? Okay.
I'll be talking and.
Yeah, no, that's okay, just, we take our names, we just need record, please.
My name is Kalpit Patel.
My name is Srinivas Shirkuri.
My name is Maulik Shah. The reason I'm here today, I moved to Old Bridge about 10 years ago, hoping that Old Bridge is one of the safest cities in New Jersey, and it is. But unfortunately, in last 3 months, I'm pretty sure all of you know that there are so many robberies taking place. And we are from Winding Brook and Rocky Creek area, and in last 3 months, there were 3 robberies. One in August, in October, La Jolla, I think house number 3, 2 cars were stolen from the driveway, and last week, house San Francisco Avenue, the robbery took place, the 3rd robbery. The reason we are here today, just to I'm sure you are aware, but I have spoken to, Councilman Murphy, Mr. Shah, police chief, and he is trying to meet with us in a small meeting, but we would like to know what Old Bridge Township Council and Mr. Mayor can do immediately to prevent this type of incidences.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for allowing us to talk here. So we, as a community,
Sir, I don't want to interrupt you, but can you just state your name for the record so the transcript is clear?
Sure.
Whereas, you're speaking and then you say what you have to say and then the other gentleman the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Srinivas Cherukuri. Yeah, I'm from the same community, the Rocky Creek and the Winding Brook development. So we met with police chief a couple of times already. Once at our development, as well as we just spoke to him again today. We, as a community, we have some suggestions. Basically, increase the police presence, right? And then also some of the street lights don't work, and there is no adequate lighting. And so obviously the lighting factor needs to be improved as well. And then the community has 2 entry and exit points where there are no homes, because ours is a very large community. We have about more than 150 plus homes. And both entry and exit, there's open areas where we see, cars idling for last few months, and those have increased, and people are parking cars over there for, more than a half hour or hour, and they're idling and people are parking there and taking a walk. So we see a lot of folks from outside the community entering into the community. Again, I'm not saying it's all wrong, but there is definitely a strong correlation between what is happening versus the robberies. So we obviously need some protective measures, and Councilman Murphy, we would like to talk to in private, because when we discussed with police chief, so he also suggested putting up signs like, and we were asking him basically, can we put like signs like no idling or parking, or maybe like, stopping for more than 5 minutes, so in the open areas. Most of our homes, in the community are equipped with security cameras, and residents are willing to work with the police.
His whole thing was filmed, right? Your whole house was filmed. Yeah, when they broke into it, he's got everything on film. It was,
Yeah.
and they knew where everything was.
Yes, yeah. So,
And they knew where everything in his house was, so it was kind of like an inside job or something.
Yeah, John,
I think if it's under investigation.
John, it's under investigation, shouldn't talk about it.
so, yeah. So, but I think, hope council got it, right? So, we are looking for, obviously, action from the town so that that would deter some of these crimes in our area. And thank you once again for
oh,
allowing
yeah,
us to
no.
talk.
I agree with councils, all the 3 cases are open, I believe. So we are not here to discuss how and what happened and whether it was insider or outsider, but we are just
Well,
coming
you're
here.
here to make us aware,
Right.
and how
And-
important this is to you, and
Right,
that's
and
totally
we are looking
understandable.
forward to sit down with, police chief in a near future to come up with a more concrete plan. But we insist that in the meantime, the police patrolling must be increased, saying 3 incidences happened in a very short period of time.
Well, I think the chief is,
Also, my name is Maulik. Also, we are like a beautiful development and all like 200 houses, but we have a lot of wooded area too. So, like we recommend more lights, so maybe it's safer because right now we feel like, and these all incidents happening like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and so we all feel like unsafe, whenever. So if we put more lighting and more patrolling, it will be.
well, yeah, I'm sure that the chief has been in contact with you, correct?
Yes.
And you've been working together collaboratively to come up with some good ideas. I mean, the council is supportive naturally, but as an investigation, as we said, there's limits to what can be discussed publicly, and we don't want to put any more, on you. So hopefully there's something else scheduled, Joe, that you'll be meeting with them again?
I will be meeting with them, yes.
Okay, and then you'll let us know what comes of the meeting and what we can do to support.
Well, I thank you, police chief. In fact, he had called me and set up a meeting one of the days during daytime, but I had requested after hours so that many people from the neighborhood can come. So he's going to schedule a meeting, but I still insist, in the meantime, the patrolling must be increased. We don't want to hear next week another robbery.
No, absolutely, we understand your concerns. Everyone wants to feel safe, and I think the chief has heard, all of your concerns, and I think he definitely will respond in kind way, for what needs to be done, absolutely.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Councilor
no.
West. And just one last thing, like
Yes.
I said, we'll talk to Mr. Murphy separately, and if he brings up that, resolution, I sincerely request the council to consider it, putting up the signs, in the.
Yeah, well, Mr. Murphy will meet with you, he's always available to you, and then he'll bring back all the different recommendations, and then we'll go from there, we'll see what we can, what can be done, and of course, this all has to go through legal and so on, so it's a process, but we definitely are here for you.
Sure, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes if your street lights are out, the township doesn't do the street lights. You have to go to the pole and you call, there's a number on them.
Yes.
And then you call the company. If you think the illumination isn't enough, sometimes they will even change the type of bulb, because what they put in years ago obviously has changed. So I would address that with them. I don't know whether you have a homeowners association, whether you have a neighborhood watch, but if you can have a neighborhood watch, I'm sure the police are patrolling, more.
We are not HOA.
Okay.
We are not HOA. Yeah, there are, street lights every 50 feet or so.
Right.
illumination is an issue,
So you
and
can actually call the company, I think working with the engineer, she has reached out many times to, to address the illumination there if that's a problem. But it is very sad, and I feel sorry for what you're going through. Everyone is now in fear of what goes on. You watch the news, and criminals get away with things, and they're really emboldened, and they're aggressive. And so it is scary, but I know the police department, we have all of our ears and all our concern, and we want everyone to be safe in Old Bridge. That's the goal. We want a safe community.
Chief, do you have anything else to add to this?
I just want to add one thing. So
Please.
Just one thing. I know of an individual that lives in that residence, that neighborhood, and they are vigilant. For the last 2 months, they've had at least 4 street lights replaced. When they see a light go down, they do call JCP&L, report it, and within days, lights are replaced. So they're staying diligent with that. And like the gentleman said, he had a community meeting. I met with them at the community, and we're planning on another meeting to go over all his concerns.
As long as we know, thank you, that your eyes are on there and that you are
but I
getting the
would say one
attention.
thing, my life is not normal anyway more. I have 2 daughters, and we don't live normal life anymore.
Once you're violent, I've experienced that in my life also. It's horrible.
Yeah, no.
We were so fortunate that we were not at home when this happened.
It's important for the neighbors to be aware, and that's because the police can't be all over at once, so it's very important for your neighbors to be conscious of what's happening.
So sorry.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, Council. I hope you'll give me a little more than 3 minutes because we only have one time and you gave these gentlemen 12 and a half minutes.
That
That
was
said,
the gentleman.
the gentlemen that were just
Right,
here.
there were 3 of them.
Yes, that's right, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 4 minutes a person. Thank you. You talked about redevelopment, Mayor Henry. How do you control the overdevelopment? I know Gravina's grossly underpaid, but it's been pretty obvious in my walk during the council that there were a lot of streets that haven't been paved, repaved, some in 47 years. I'd really appreciate if the council could provide us with a map and the age of all the streets, so we're not just repaving specific streets like Central Avenue and West every 5 years. Well, I know the acting captain visited Rocky Creek. I was there at that meeting. There was a discussion about placing cameras at the egresses, the entrance and the exit, the 2 streets that are open. There are 35 cameras being purchased by the township. I would hope that the township would consider putting 2 of those cameras in those locations, as have been discussed. And I want to go on to start speaking about the planning and the 3 million square feet of warehousing that's going on. There's been discussed more than 5,000 trees, including heritage trees, that are going to be destroyed in the action of putting up 3 million square feet of warehouses. That's going to also affect the bog turtles, eastern bog turtles, the spotted salamanders, eastern hognoses. These are 3 species that are endangered. It's also going to affect smooth earth and the milk snakes, both of which I've seen on my property as well. Earth snakes, and a lot of wildlife. It's really a shanda. That means a shame if you don't know what it means. There were a lot of traffic reports that were not done in the process of the approval process in the planning board that really need to be done. A lot of streets were ignored. Ferry Street, for one. There were a lot of streets that they expect the trucks to travel down, and they were not covered. And we really think that that needs to be done before any decision is made, and that the council themselves, you guys can stop it. By the way, Mr. Lozer, I'm actually happy that you're here tonight because the other one is not so good. But I do have something that I'm going to make you all smile. It's a song. It's 2 seconds. It goes by, this land is your land, this land is my land. I want to give that to you. It'll make you smile, especially you, Mary. Hold on a minute. My voice is not so good, so you're going to have to wait for the recording. It's pretty quick. Just takes me a second to get it, okay? I apologize. you pass it again.
This land is your land, this land is my land.
Expired.
The lakes of Hurdle to the mountain bay, from Chiswick Forest to John Phillips Parkland. This land was made for you and me. We can put direction of Old Bridge landscape.
Can I, Gabriella, would you mind if I just played this? Mary, with your permission? Of course not. You don't really care about it. I know, one meeting a month, you really don't care about us. It's obvious, pretty obvious.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard this evening? Seeing no one coming forward, I will close the public portion. Next, I will go to council member comments.
Sorry, Ms. Brown, do you have any comments tonight?
No, thank you.
Mr. DePalma is absent. Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to wish Linda and Bob O'Connell, the owners of Cheesequake Farms, the very best in their retirement. They deserve it. They've worked very hard, many, many years. We'll miss you, the township will miss you, and you made Old Bridge a better place to raise a family. The farm fields were always beautiful and very calming to see, aesthetically pleasing whenever you drove by. You had a lot of activities for the kids, whether it was the pumpkin picking, the corn maze, the hay rides. Those will be missed. I know everyone, for their Christmas trees and decorations and spring flowers, I can go on, your produce. But 49 years as a farmer is a long time. You did your best. And really, it's really a milestone, and it will be a change in the town, but you will never be forgotten. And I'm glad to hear that you're still at least going to be doing the fields. So that's a great thing. But enjoy your time in Florida. And I would like everyone to have a nice holiday, a safe holiday with your family and friends. Enjoy. And also, please keep the victims of the tornadoes in your prayers. And if there's any way that you could help, I know that they are in need of financing, and also there's a lot of different groups that you could look into to donate. Thank you, everyone. Have a good holiday.
Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy, do you have any comments tonight?
Yes. First of all, I'd just like to I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas coming up. Everybody a Happy Hanukkah that passed quite early this year. And any other religions that I've missed or anything, I just want to wish everybody a happy New Year coming up. And I hope things are better. And I have one question. Is there a meeting on the 28th?
Yes.
There is, definitely.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Piscitty?
Yes. Just on a sad note, our neighbor, where I live in Southwood there, Nancy Cressito, passed away from stage 4 lung cancer. She was just a rock for our neighborhood. She was like the mom to everybody, my kid's second mom. She was just a kind person, and she's going to be sorely missed. So I just wanted to take a moment out to let everybody know. And, on a happier note, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Thank you. Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. have a safe holiday. Thank you.
Ms. Walker?
Yes, I'm personally going to miss Cheesequake Farms for over 30 years. My son, he really gets into buying a Christmas tree. It's a big event for him. And we've been buying our tree there for over 30 years. And when I told him they were closing down, he was devastated. So I don't know where we're going to go. Well, this year they were closed as well. I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. We're going to see you before the new year, so just wishing everybody a happy holiday season.
Ms. President Sauer.
Yes, first of all, Councilman DePalma unfortunately could not be here this evening, and he wanted me to wish everyone a happy holiday and a safe holiday, and his signature, slow down and be careful with the traffic. I myself, I want to also thank the firemen and women who were to volunteer and have Santa come on their truck and take him all around town for the children. My development where I live in Buttonwood Arms, there now happens to be an explosion of children, which is great. And when I went outside just to hear them calling, Santa's here, Santa's here, it was amazing. It just makes you really feel the holiday spirit, you know? So I wanted to thank all of them because they really volunteered to do that and go all through town that way is really, they're amazing. So I wish they will have a great, great holiday. And I want to say again, Merry Christmas, naturally Happy Hanukkah, and let's hope for good things in the future, and you know, let's hope and pray that things stay good, you know? So everyone have a great holiday. Thank you. Okay, next we will be going into an executive session.
Resolution
Yeah,
to
we
exclude
will
the
be
public pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12:13. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Old Bridge that the public shall be excluded from this meeting pursuant to NJSA 10:4-13 for the attorney-client privilege matter for the discussion of contract negotiations. Be it further resolved that this meeting shall reconvene in a public session upon conclusion of those discussions, and that the minutes or other records of this discussion shall be available to be disclosed to the public when the need for its exclusion from public no longer exists as determined by vote of the governing body at a public session. Motion?
Second.
Ms. Brown? Oh, yeah. She's over there absent, but she said yes. Mr. Palmer is absent. Dr. Greenberg-Belli? Mr. Merwin is absent. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohor?
Yes.
That's 7 ayes to enter executive.